This was a trade that kind of snuck up on us and those in Chicago as well. Jabari Parker clearly didn't work out in Chicago. Bobby Portis moved to the Wizards for Otto Porter, the contract nobody thought would ever get moved, but now fits in at 25 years old with Levine, with Markkanen, with Dunn, with Wendell Carter Jr. Let's start before we even talk about kind of why. When you just look on the floor at those players and how he fits, do you see a good fit for the good version of Otto Porter Jr. with Dunn and Markkanen and Levine?
Yeah, I say it's a decent fit.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a good fit.
That's not overwhelming, Smitty.
No, not at all. And I love Otto Porter, and I'm still waiting, to see what type of player he is, Coach. And I think he shoots it okay when he's hot. I think he defends okay, and I think he handles the basketball. I think he's a great locker room kid. I think he fits the culture of anybody. But when I look at Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker, I know Jabari Parker wasn't working there, but there's such, growth with those guys in the future. And Bobby Portis is one of those guys that you can play him at the 4, the 5. For the Chicago Bulls, for their future, I just didn't think they needed to make this deal right now for Otto Porter because of the money. It locks them up. But, let's see. But I did not like this trade for the Chicago Bulls. I love it for the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, I didn't understand it necessarily for the Bulls. When you look at their side of it, Coach, and let's stay there for a second, Porter seemed to play better in the times without John Wall and seemed really in the Beal days of last year where they were on that run. We saw the shooting and the 3-and-D, if you will. What can the Bulls get if he's the right version of Otto Porter when you look at him now moving forward with this group, Coach?
Isn't it simply that your eyes immediately go to see how do you shoot from the three-point line if you're looking at the box score for the night before? So we're giving one category that he can excel in. There were times where he was leading the NBA in three-point shooting a year ago. But having said that, I'm not sure, was it more that they found somebody willing to take those other two guys, knowing that they can take Porter and move him perhaps somewhere else? Because I'm not sure he's not a little bit ahead of that young nucleus that Chicago's raising up and trying to keep together. I don't know if he fits with them. And if you're relying on him to do that every night, make a lot of threes, I have to see it become more consistent.
I think it doesn't matter the sport because we look at, you hate to say punting, but John Wall's out next year and he's making 44, 46. We understand what's coming after that, right? So whether it's, and I deal with this a lot on the baseball side as well, the idea of being in the middle, and as this great song says, stuck in the middle with you, does nothing for you. So I present this to both of you. Why wouldn't you go all in on trying to move Bradley Beal, who's a terrific player, but making what, 25 or whatever it is $1 million a year, Coach, and at least use the next year to set yourself up for whatever it's going to be when John Wall returns?
Do you know how many teams we have now, not only us, but our fellow panelists up here, have put into the wipe it out, rebuild it, start over again, and build down the road?
You're right.
We're going to have 19 teams, 20 teams next year, for the next couple of years that are building to get where Golden State is right now, where, Houston is right now, where Milwaukee is right now. Everybody is trying to get rid of money, open spaces up, and bring guys in, and get lucky in the draft, by the way, at the same time, hoping that you're the choice of a major free agent that he wants to land with your franchise.
Here's where the problem is, though, and why I think for the Wizards, personally, it makes sense. The Nets not getting any worse, and they have money. The Knicks, whoever signs, it'll be enough in the East to probably, with all that space, let's be fair, put them in some kind of a playoff conversation at the bottom of the conference next year. So the bottom teams are moving forward, and you've got no John Wall. And I love Satoransky, so do you. Mm-hmm. But to have Bradley Beal all by himself on an island, who doesn't seem to work well with Wall anyway, does that make sense if you can get a great deal for him in the next day?
I'm with Coach, and I look at this in the way you see the league. If owner, general manager, and coach are on the same page, like the Philadelphia 76ers would with Brett Brown.
Right.
But when you start having a coach who come in with his style, and you're asking him to tank, and then when you start to get good, you bring in another coach who has a different philosophy. Now this general manager is trying to match up this style with that coach. And if you don't stay consistent, if everybody doesn't buy in, from fans, ownership, general manager, and coach, I don't think you should tank. And then also you got to be an organization that you're willing to pay when it's time to get over the hump and also a place, like Coach said, that's the destination where players want to go right now. Players have a lot of control now where they want to go. The Washington Wizards, when they were good, couldn't attract guys to come play with them. So it's going to be interesting for me. I don't think this is an organization that can go all the way and tank, especially when you have a John Wall, because you're not moving him in another year and a half or two. I think they have to stay the course. Maybe not go all in, chips all in, but I think they got to stay in the middle of the pack.
I'll tell you what. You go ahead, Coach.
Okay, so I'm glad Smitty brought that up because it's a great point as far as I'm going to give you what coaches go through.
Okay.
Okay, from personal experience.
Yep.
You're dealt this hand, the card. These are players that you have to develop to try and make them better. You develop them, they become better, your team comes a little better, and then you hear, the worst thing is to wind up in the middle of the pack. Worst thing is to make it to the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round. It's a little disheartening because from a coaching standpoint, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Try to win to get to the playoffs and then try to go as far as you can in the playoffs. So you take this group and you develop them, they get better and they become a team and you make it to the playoffs. But everybody's not happy because you made it to the playoffs. It's part of what the coaches deal with in the NBA all the time. What do you want me to do? You want me to sit here and lose every game and not develop these guys? Or do you want me to try and win as many games as we can? And if we happen to get into the playoffs and get knocked out in the first round, that's step one. You got to the playoffs and you tasted playoff basketball. It's a quandary for a coach.